Hey, welcome. I'm Solutionary, and today we're going to make a nice little exercise I've got from an indigenous people in Mexico, the Huichols, Viraricas, they like to call themselves. So I did not invent this. This is a native practice that they have been doing for quite a while, and it helps to set certain intentions or wishes or hopes for the future for yourself and for your family. This is something that you can do on your own, or you can do it with family members. It is quite meditative in itself, and we will, at certain intervals, take time to go back to the breathing and make sure that we remain calm and focused, and see how we can make this as useful as possible. Now, you only need some household items for this, as for all the exercises we do together. These are just your normal barbecue sticks. These sticks are slightly small, so if you want to make something bigger, then you use just bigger sticks. You can use anything really, as long as it's some sort of thin stick. You could even use this kind of thing, bamboo, but you know, it's all up to you. I have made this example with some thread that you generally use for other artwork, but you can use just plain wool. Most people have some wool of any other kind of colors, cord or wool that you can find. So I've got these nice natural types of wool that are from the sheep from my family, and they also will look pretty nice, I think. Now, before you start, make sure you have all the materials and you have an idea what you would like to make this about. So this is an exercise that will lead to a nice result. We will even finish this one with some nice finishing a bit later on. First, I want to show you the basics. But of course, we also make it to explore some more of what we want out of life, what's important for us, what we want to focus on a bit more. So these are, of course, also very important aspects. Now, to start, you just need 2 sticks and one of the colors. So you generally, the way I've been taught, this is the point where you decide, okay, what do I want to wish for? What would I like more of in the future? You say, okay, I want to really have better health. I want to feel more energy. I want to feel good in my body. Then you could say, okay, maybe this is red for me. So in this example, we'll use red for that, but you can use any color that would signify this, that would symbolize this for you. Now, first is to find the beginning of the wool. It's always a little trick. And then when you've got the beginning, you just take a certain amount already of the bunch, and you just take these sticks, 2 of them, and you find the middle, and somewhere along the middle you make a knot. So that's the start. You make the knot, and you really want to make this as tight as possible, because it will influence the way your finished artwork looks. Now, as always, when you're making artwork for yourself, the most important thing is to enjoy it and to see what you want to get out of it. It doesn't have to necessarily look good. Well, it can look, it will probably look good. It doesn't have to be perfect. Quite often we are scared of doing anything art related if we're not used to it, because of this focus, this exaggerated focus on the end result. Generally, the end result will also be nice, though if you focus on this too much in the beginning, it can block you and stop you from doing something that is quite enjoyable. So here, this is the first step. We are making a knot, and I like to just go around it a few times to make it more tight. So I'm going to move this one a little bit. And if you make it more tight, this will make it much easier later on for the next layers. Otherwise, you will get your thread that's a bit soft. It's not very neat looking. So again, and at a certain point, you want to start with weaving between the sticks. Now here I'm doing it quite simple for the first few times, just like this. When I've got a good start and I feel this is more or less stable, I go on like this. So I turn around one of those sticks, then I turn around the next one, and so on. I always make a little turn. This is basically what will hold this together. Okay. So then we've got our core. Core is really the part where you want to pay most attention to this. And then you can relax more and just get used to the movement, the rhythmic, meditative part of working with thread. So I'm going to get myself a little bit more slack. Again, this is the thing with these simple movements, simple ways of creating. You are doing something very repetitive and it invites you to reflect. If you are not used to doing this, or if you're someone who easily gets bored, then this is an interesting practice because it will invite you to stay with that feeling a little bit, because actually it's not going to take that long, especially not with wool, a little bit, and see what pops up in your mind. Are you thinking about what you're going to make for dinner, or are you thinking about your work? And try to just stay with it a moment, then thank the thought and go to what you want to achieve with this. So if you say, okay, I want to have more health in my future, then now is the moment to think, what would it look like if I could have this health that I want? If I could get the energy I want, what would it look like? How would I feel? How would I move? How would I walk? How would other people react? And again, we take deep, slow breaths. And with the wool, you really get this result quite fast. This kind of thread, it takes a bit longer. And the moment you think, okay, that's enough for this one, you just go around your stick and you hold the thread, you cut off the loose end, place your thread into a loop like this. I hope you can see this. Okay. And you get it nice and neat, just like that. I like to do it twice to make sure it's really tight. And then you cut off. the loose end. This is the first step. Just take a moment to visualize again your goal, and it doesn't really matter what you put in the middle. It's probably the first thing that pops into your mind is probably something quite important for you, maybe something you've been struggling with, something you've been trying to achieve. So it's good to take a moment to reflect and to thank yourself for taking the time to think about this and think about maybe the first little step that you could do today or even tomorrow that would lead there. And when I say a little step, I mean really a little step. If it would be health and energy, what generally gives you health and energy? This kind of artwork is also meant for that, because according to Huichol practices, they say you can't get anything without offering something in return. It's quite simple. If you take something from the earth you are harvesting, let's say potatoes, you take them all and you leave the land without anything to cover it, you will impoverish the land, and the next time you want to have something, you will have less. If you have this with relationships, it's also quite obvious. If you just only rely on other people and don't support them in return, well, won't help a lot. If you demand of your body to continue functioning at a high level and perform and do a lot of difficult tasks, and you're not taking good care of it, well, that's not a healthy, stable practice. So it's about sustainability, about giving back, about investing. So when you've thought about that and reflect about that, you can go to the next one. And again, this can be for yourself, it can be for people in your environment. You can say, oh yeah, the relationship part, it's really something that I want to focus on now. There are some things that I want improved, or some things that I would just like to see happening. And you just make a simple knot back like this. Make sure it attaches nicely close to the other cord. And continue. Around the stick and the next one. And also here you want it to be tight enough. Be careful, if you suddenly go tighter than before, then you will distort the previous part. So here again you think about what it is that you want, what it would look like, who would notice it if that would change. Would you be the first one to notice it, or someone else? What would be maybe hidden benefits? Also, while doing this, keep noticing your thoughts, how they react to this activity. Do they remain calm? Do they tend to wander? Just notice it. From time to time, return to what you want to achieve with this artwork. And you do this as many times as you like, or as long as your piece of wool is. Make sure you have a nice looking result. If necessary, just take another piece until you're done with this. And again, we do these little knots where you go through this loop, just like this. It's a completely different look, But I like this also. It's more rough, but it suits me. And then I take those ends and tie them off, taking care not to distort anything. If you're doing this with someone else, you can always explain what your wishes are for this and what you hope you would get more of in the future. It can be a nice way to spend time together. You can also show it to someone else afterwards and explain what it means to you. And basically you continue with these layers as often as you like. You can also use the same colors, of course. That's completely up to your own preferences. Now, traditionally, these would be placed at sacred places and left there as a kind of offering for their wishes. Now, I like to just have them in a place where I can see them, maybe a beautiful place where I can be reminded of what I want to achieve. I'll leave it on for just a second. And here you can keep the layers very close to each other, or you can even have some space between them. I will show you a bit later how to do this. And then you get a different finish, a different look. When you have this kind of exercises, it's always good to know that you can adapt them to what suits you best. Like I have done a little bit. This is how I remember them. This is what I use them for. But kids also really love to make them. It's a thing to do with kids. Alright. So again, you think about what it could mean, what you want to grow, what you want to have more of in the future. Tie a knot when you're done with that layer. Tie it off. And then you can think about your next layer. You can also go back to another ball that you've already chosen before. Go in more detail about that. Or maybe something you wish for and you hope for someone else. That's also nice. And see where you can maybe support them. But you don't always have to. You don't always have to have some concrete ideas of what you can get out of it. Sometimes just reflecting about what you find important, what you would like to see, what your hopes are for the future is important in itself without fixing anything. So here I started, if I would do it just one layer, but we're going to add some nice little break. Like this. And we're going to do this for each of those little sides. Tie it off like you would do for the end part. like this. Make a knot. Cut this off, obviously. And there you go to the next one. When you've done the 4 sides like this, you can just resume like you used to, and it will give a nice effect. Make a little knot like you always do when you start a new color. You think about what the wish is, what the hope for the future is that you want to add in here. And it doesn't have to be the same meaning as last time you used that color. It's just a way to fix your thought. Traditionally, it's like that. You use one color for intention, but you use it whatever way works for you. It's always nice to also have a nice looking end result. So I just go around like I did in the previous times. But this time I get a gap. Which looks pretty neat, I think. Again, think about the tension. It needs to be tight enough, but also not overly tight. It's like you focus. If you're focusing too much directly on what you want to have and that goal, it can make you sometimes impatient. And focusing on in between goals, on in between rewards you can get, helps to motivate you. If you say like, oh, I want to pass all my exams, yeah, of course you want to, but maybe try focusing first on passing this exam, and then after that you'll worry on the next one. And maybe that's even too big. Maybe you just want to think about, okay, I want to study well today. It doesn't have to be about studying again. It can be about anything that's important to you. You get this gap effect. And that's for me enough in this color. I think one more layer, I'll be done with this step. Then we'll do the finishing touches, because it's nice to have a nice end result to look back at. So we already have this. Wonder what colors you have. Would be great if I can see some of your results, if anyone dares to show it. Really, the whole thing about this is to be creative and to use your flexible thinking and not the rational part of your brain all the time, because we're kind of overusing it and it becomes more focused again. It becomes more, you get more clear thoughts when you let your mind wander from time to time, when you allow yourself to think in a different way. And that's also pretty much what we do with mindfulness techniques. We let the mind rest and we focus on what we want. It's also interesting to think about the materials you use. Traditionally, these were of course made with natural fibers and colored with whatever plants were on hand, and that's also very interesting. Now we don't all have access to these resources, but it's nice to think about what kind of materials you ideally want to use and what you want to surround yourself with. So it doesn't only have to be personal achievements, it can also be about creating a lovely environment for yourself. That's also the point when you are creating beautiful or at least nice looking artworks. You are enriching your environment, and you are enriching your thinking, because you will be reminded of this at several points in time, because they are somewhere where you can see them. Now I want to create a nice finishing touch by making some sort of flush. I don't know what to call it. I will just show you. You make a bunch of thread around your fingers like this. It doesn't have to be precise, just an amount that would make a nice volume. You hold them tight, and then you're going to go with your wool around the top part, to keep a part of the wool free so that you can tie it to the ends. This is a really simple way to make a stunning finish to your artwork. Now you can make it from one color, several colors. That's really up to you. I will use just the red one. Tie it off. Again, here you want to make it tight enough so that they will hold the strings in place. Like this. And then you cut off these ends. And there you go. Nice little finishing touch. You tie them to all four ends, or just three ends. That's really up to you to say. Here it helps to tie it around a few times again. It's a bit of a feeling thing, fumbling. But that's the point. You also engage with other senses. You use fine motoric skills, and all these things enrichen the way you think, the way you feel. By doing the same thing all the time, every day, you're blocking your creativity. By taking some time every day, every week, for something completely different, you create more spontaneity and more creativity, which will help you to find solutions for all these things you want to improve. Now you can also finish it up a little bit with the scissors, make it more or less the same length. And then you can cut it at the length that you want. That's really up to you. Another way to tie it is to already place your bundle of strings around your stick and go around it with the string right there. So it depends. It makes it a little bit more tricky at this stage, but easier to keep it on the stick. So experiment, see what works for you. And you can, at this stage, start to wonder which of these goals or which of these hopes that you've got on your artwork that you would suspect you could see results of the soonest. Which of those you want to invest more time or energy in. You can also revisit it later and see when you have achieved some of these goals. It's nice to look back and see what you have achieved from your goals. We do this very rarely, really take the time to consider this. So maybe you can also do this now and think about some of those goals you've had in the past and that you have achieved. Maybe some things that you wouldn't have thought that you would achieve. Again, you finish it up as much as you like to. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's about enjoying, creating, and learning from this. And generally, the results will come on their own. It's also really nice to hang them on a string and see how they move in the wind. What's really interesting is that this kind of skills, this kind of creating things and making artwork, it's for these people, the Huichols, it's very natural, and they learn it by doing it and observing other people and taking from them inspiration and trying things out on their own. So they generally don't have any formal education in this. They just try things out and see what the results are. And they do this from a very young age, from certainly 8, most of them probably younger, and it enables them to create really nice, colorful, individual artwork. Should have taken something to show, maybe for another time. So it's really not about having any education to do this. It's not even about being naturally talented or not, because everyone can do it, who can at least make some artwork. Of course, there are varying skills, but everyone can make something nice, and that's important to know. Here we sort of often have the idea that only real artists with real training can make something nice. But reality is that everyone can. It's like reading or writing. Some people will maybe be more proficient than others, but everyone can read, anyone can write, and anyone can make artwork, really. And the more often you do this, the more you allow yourself to try things out and to play with this and have fun with this, the more you will see that you will actually create beautiful things and enjoy it even more. So there we are. This is my finished product, and I'm going to place it somewhere. I'm not sure yet. We'll put it like this. So yeah, you also have several options. You can just hang it, or you can place it somewhere nice, like for example near your plants. Okay, so thank you for watching and creating with me. I hope you have enjoyed this and have had a nice time to reflect and to reattune with yourself and with what you want to have in the future. So if you like this, make sure to follow the channel. I will post regularly some nice creative things to make and enjoy by varying and trying things out on your own. Thank you and see you next time.